Hey there, my beautiful friends. I have a fun request and invitation for you. Last week, someone suggested that I stream these study along videos live on YouTube, which I would love to do. I think that's an amazing audience suggestion. What I need is to reach 1,000 subscribers before YouTube will let me stream on my mobile devices, which is how I do all my recordings. So I'm at about 700 subscribers now. I think I can get to 1,000 with your help. If you just ask 10 of your friends to subscribe, post on your social medias or however you want to do it, but like ask people that you think would enjoy this content. Say, hey, please subscribe to this channel because if we get to 1,000, she can start doing these live. That would be really awesome. So keep that in mind. Please share with your friends. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers so this can be a lot more interactive and you can pose questions or have your own conversations in the chat, and it doesn't have to be like long form with like me responding to your ideas and that sort of thing. So you groovy with that, my friends? Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. With that, welcome back to our study along of the World Order of Baha'u'llah. Selected letters from Shoghi Effendi. Last week we talked about the local and national houses of justice, the future for our national and local spiritual assemblies, and how that was really the work of the Guardian. I mean, he did so much, but one of the most important elements of his time on earth was helping build those institutions, local and national, to the point where they could actually play their part in electing the Supreme House of Justice in the way envisioned and articulated by Baha'u'llah. And now we are jumping into a section called the Institution of the Guardianship. And was there anything else I wanted to say to you about that? No, I'll just interrupt myself if I have more to add. It must be also clearly understood by every believer that the institution of the guardianship does not, under any circumstances, abrogate or even in the slightest degree detract from the powers granted to the Universal House of Justice by Baha'u'llah in the Kitab-i-Aqdas, and repeatedly and solemnly confirmed by Abdu'l-Baha in his will. It does not constitute in any manner a contradiction to the will and writings of Baha'u'llah, nor does it nullify any of his revealed instructions. It enhances the prestige of that exalted assembly, stabilizes its supreme position, safeguards its unity, assures the continuity of its labors, continuity of its labors, without presuming in the slightest to infringe on the inviolability of its clearly defined sphere of jurisdiction. We stand indeed too close to so monumental a document to claim for ourselves a complete understanding of all its implications, or to presume to have grasped the manifold mysteries it undoubtedly contains. And friends, I am actually not completely sure which document he's referring to. I don't know if he's talking about the will and testament of Abdu'l-Baha or the will and writings of Baha'u'llah. That makes more sense. I guess he's talking about the whole Monty. Feel free to share in the comments if you are more clear than I am about what he's referring to. Only future generations can comprehend the value and the significance attached to this divine masterpiece, which the hand of the master builder of the world has designed for the unification and the triumph of the worldwide faith of Baha'u'llah. I love that. The divine masterpiece, the master builder of the world, has designed this for the unification and the triumph of the worldwide faith of Baha'u'llah. Only those who come after us, which is so exciting because technically we are after this, so he's kind of referring to us, so take it personally, but I'm sure he's also even more so referring to the people who come after us. But he's writing in 1929, so we're definitely a later generation. So we hopefully are beginning to see even more than the believers at this time did. Only those who come after us will be in a position to realize the value of the surprisingly strong emphasis that has been placed on the institution of the House of Justice and of the Guardianship. They only will appreciate the significance of the vigorous language employed by Abdu'l-Baha with reference to the hand of covenant breakers that opposed him in his days. It's interesting. To them alone, future generations, to them alone will be revealed the suitability of the institutions initiated by Abdu'l-Baha to the character of the future society, which is to emerge out of the chaos and confusion of the present age. In this connection, I cannot but feel amused at the preposterous and fantastic idea, and again he's referring to the ideas that Ruth White had put forth to raise ruckus in the Baha'i community. So the preposterous and fantastic idea that Muhammad Ali, the prime mover and the focal center of unyielding hostility to the person of Abdu'l-Baha, and I assume we're talking about Mirza Muhammad Ali, Abdu'l-Baha's half-brother, should have freely associated himself with the members of the family of Abdu'l-Baha in the forging of a will, which, in the words of the writer herself, is but, quote, a recital of the plottings, end quote, in which for 30 years Muhammad Ali has been busily engaged. To such a hopeless victim of confused ideas, I feel I can best reply by a genuine expression of compassion and pity, mingled with my hope for her deliverance from so profound a delusion. Slay, Shoghi Effendi, slay. I think it's actually so sweet that he's like, my reaction here to these unfounded, silly connection of ideas is just pity and compassion for someone who's so lost, and I pray for her deliverance. I think that's such a great attitude, considering like the challenge that she was presenting to the faith. Apparently, if National had to write Shoghi Effendi to ask for guidance on this. It was in view of the aforesaid observations that I have, after the unfortunate and unavoidable delay occasioned by my ill health and absence from the Holy Land during the Master's passing, hesitated to resort to the indiscriminate circulation of the will, realizing full well that it was primarily directed to the recognized believers and only indirectly concerned the larger body of the friends and the sympathizers of the cause. So it was in view of the aforesaid observations that he delayed the dissemination of the will, right? Is that how you guys understand it? Hesitated to resort to the indiscriminate circulation of the will. So he didn't indiscriminately circulate it because it dealt only with the, it was a need-to-know basis kind of thing. At least at first, that's how I understand it. It was in view of the aforesaid observations. Right, you guys want me to go on? I'm going to read the next section as well. And now it behooves us to reflect on the animating purpose and the primary functions of these divinely established institutions, the sacred character and the universal efficacy of which can be demonstrated only by the spirit they diffuse and the work they actually achieve. I need not dwell upon what I have already reiterated and emphasized, that the administration of the cause is to be conceived as an instrument and not a substitute for the faith of Baha'u'llah, that it should be regarded as a channel through which his promised blessings may flow, that it should guard against such rigidity as would clog and fetter the liberating forces released by his revelation. I need not enlarge at the present moment upon what I have stated in the past, that contributions to the local and national funds are of a purely voluntary character, that no coercion or solicitation of funds is to be tolerated in the cause, that general appeals addressed to the communities as a body should be the only form in which the financial requirements of the faith are to be met, that the financial support accorded to a very few workers in the teaching and administrative fields is of a temporary nature, that the present restrictions imposed on the publication of Baha'i literature will be definitely abolished. Interesting. That the world unity activity is being carried out as an experiment, and world unity is capitalized, so this is an experiment to testify the efficacy of the indirect method of teaching, that the whole machinery of assemblies, of committees, and conventions is to be regarded as a means and not an end in itself, that they will rise or fall according to their capacity to further the interests, to coordinate the activities, to apply the principles, to embody the ideals, and to execute the purpose of the Baha'i Faith. Who, I may ask, when viewing the instrumental character of the cause, its far-flung ramifications, the increasing complexity of its affairs, the diversity of its adherents, and the state of confusion that assails on every side the infant faith of God, can, for a moment, question the necessity of some sort of administrative machinery that will ensure, amid the storm and stress of a struggling civilization, the unity of the faith, the preservation of its identity, and the protection of its interests. To repudiate the validity of the assemblies of the elected ministers of the faith of Baha'u'llah would be to reject those countless tablets of Baha'u'llah and Abdu'l-Baha, wherein they have extolled the station of the, quote, trustees of the merciful, enumerated their privileges and duties, emphasized the glory of their mission, revealed the immensity of their task, and warned them of the attacks they must need expect from the unwisdom of their friends as well as from the malice of their enemies. It is surely for those to whose hands so priceless a heritage has been committed to prayerfully watch lest the tool should supersede the faith itself. Woo, woo, that's big. So he's talking about the validity and the need of the administrative element of the faith, that this is a cohesive force. This is a, what did he call it? We should know this. This is a good thing. An instrument. an instrument, not a substitute, a channel through which the Baha'u'llah's blessings may flow. We should guard against rigidity, and also be sure that the tool should not supersede the faith itself, lest undue concern for the minute details arising from the administration of the cause obscure the vision of its promoters. Okay, lest undue concern for the minute details arising from the administration of the cause obscure the vision of its promoters, lest particularly ambition and worldliness tend in the course of time to becloud its radiance, stain the purity, and impair the effectiveness of the faith of Baha'u'llah. That's so beautiful that Shoghi Effendi is so emphatically articulating the authenticity of the institutions, that their need, the need for these institutions, which were so nascent at the time of his writing. But he's also cautioning against rigidity and overemphasis. That's how I understand it. He's saying, you know, the Master and Abdu'l-Baha foreshadowed this. They talked about the trustees of the merciful, enumerated their privileges and duties, emphasized the glory of their mission, revealed the immensity of their task, and warned them of attacks from the unwisdom of their friends and the malice of their enemies. It is surely for those to whose hands so priceless a heritage has been committed. So that's us. That's as I understand it, that the heritage of the faith, and I guess people who serve on institutions, of course, as well, to prayerfully watch lest the tool supersede the faith itself, lest undue concern for the minute details arising from the administration of the cause obscure the vision of its promoters, lest partiality, ambition, and worldliness tend in the course of time to becloud its radiance and stain the purity and impair the effectiveness of the faith of Baha'u'llah. What a beautiful call. There's a lot to ponder in there. That we have to make sure that our own partiality, ambition, and worldliness and human tendency to get fixated on minute details and things that are not of its essence to be clouded. So that concludes the section that's titled The Animating Purpose of the Baha'i Institutions. And I think there's a lot for us to meditate on that. And partiality, ambition, and worldliness tend in the course of time, he's warning us, that doesn't have to happen, but cloud the radiance, purity, and impair the effectiveness of the faith of Baha'u'llah. So let's just make sure we don't let that happen. Dear friends, thanks so much for studying with me. Again, if we get to 1,000 subscribers, this can be more interactive, which would be awesome. Linked below, I have the sign up for 19 days of inspiration. If you would like to join, totally free project. It's daily art and devotional emails during the Baha'i fast. And I have links below if you're interested in noble beings or art prints for AYYAM-I-HA gifts. I think there's still time. As always, my friends, I wish you the best for playing your part in making this world a better place. I'll catch you next time.